Hello, welcome to Nattys Crafts. I'm Natalie. I always do all the crafting. And today we're actually jumping into Halloween. Since Dollar Tree has all their Halloween stuff out, I figured now's the time to start. So I've got, I believe, 2 crafts that we're going to do that are Halloween themed. And I think they should be fun. So give the video a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you should hit the bell so you know when the next video comes out. And there's Lily, because she has to be involved. I don't know if you'll be able to see her or not with my edit, but she's there. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and go take a look. So first we're going to make a Halloween centerpiece. We'll need one of those oven covers, the burner covers from Dollar Tree. That's what you're seeing in the middle there, that white piece. That's what that is. And then you'll need some of this raffia. This was a skirt from Dollar Tree that I used in some craft last year that I don't remember, but it was already on this ribbon and I couldn't remember what I used this for. So I'm just going to cut it apart. I'm going to reuse this raffia for my centerpiece. And if you just get the hula skirt from Dollar Tree, you could just use it as it is. Or if you get the spool of raffia, which is what I originally thought I was going to use, you could just cut it up and make it the size you want. So I'm going to get the pieces that I want, the size that I want, and I'm just going to hot glue them down to this burner cover. And I thought at first I was going to try to hide the ribbon, and then I decided, well, that's just too difficult. So I didn't do that. Instead, I opened it up and I went ahead and showed the ribbon because it's going to end up getting covered anyway. So I was okay with that. So I'm putting one on each side, and the idea was that there's something going to be in the middle. So I need the middle to be as flat as possible and not have a big pile of hot glue with all this raffia piled on top. So I'm trying to make it as flat as possible. So I'm going to put a piece going, left and right, and then top and bottom. Now the top and bottom I did break up so that it had a little bit of dimension so that it turned a little bit around the round burner cover. And then I did the same thing on the bottom as well. Just cut 2 pieces and make it so that it somewhat follows the turn of the burner cover. And it looks crazy right now, but that's okay. Let it look crazy. We'll be all right. It looks kind of... I don't know what that looks like, but it looks kind of crazy. But go with me. Just hang out. Stay with me. And then we're going to figure out what kind of Halloween decorations we want to put on our centerpiece. I started with this pumpkin, but I ended up not even using the pumpkin at all. And then I moved to this tree. Now these happen to be items that I made on my 3D printer, but most everything you could find a version of at Dollar Tree. So keep that in mind. And so I'm just trying to figure out how I want this to sit, if I need to glue it down or not, just trying to figure out all those details. Because I was just flying blind here. I just had a handful of Halloween stuff and I just wanted to put it in the middle. And I did figure out I did have to glue this tree together because it was kind of loose. It wasn't sitting exactly the way I wanted. So I glued that down. I did have to hold it for a few moments because I wanted it to actually be secure, and I was just using hot glue. I don't want this to be something that I'm going to have to figure out how to pack and put away at the end of October. I want it to be something I can pull apart and lay flat. So hot glue it is. So once I've got that in place, then I'm going to cover up that black and white ribbon with some more fall Halloweenish looking ribbon. Which I guess the black and white could be Halloween, but whatever. I'm going to use the orange. It'll blend in better with that raffia. I can say the word, I swear. And I ended up wanting to have a little bit of a rounded corner on this ribbon. I'm not sure why this is what I wanted, but this is what I wanted. So that's what I did. I just folded the ribbon in half and then did a slight curve around the edge of the ribbon. So we're just going to take a touch of hot glue and hot glue that ribbon onto the other ribbon that's already there. And that covered it up nicely, just enough of what I wanted. I put another ribbon underneath it as well. And then I've got a little candy bucket here. It's very small, a little cauldron that says Happy Halloween. And then I put the top of a candle inside so that I could set my glow-in-the-dark ghost that I made inside the cauldron, because I wanted a cute little ghost inside along with the candy that I'm going to end up putting in there. Now again, this is very small. It's not like for trick-or-treating or anything. It's just a cute little additive for your table. And then I'm just going to add some more ghosts that I made on around the edges. Let me tell you, I went to Dollar Tree to get some Halloween decor. And I went there and I was walking around thinking all this junk is now $1.50. Not that it was so great at $1.25, but it was acceptable. And now I figure I just make the stuff I want. I can't do $1.50 for little stuff like this, little nonsense like this. I just couldn't do it. So I ended up coming home and just making stuff. And then I have this little itty bitty ghost. I don't know if you can even see it up at the top of my tree. And it was this really pretty purplish color, which I love this color. It's fabulous. I would do everything in this color if possible. And then I'm going to add some spiders. Now these are glow in the dark. And after I made all this glow in the dark stuff, I realized, you know, these are never going to glow in the dark because I keep my light on where this sits in the kitchen there. I keep that light on maybe for 2 hours a day. And so there's no way it's going to gain enough light in order to ever glow. But anyway, the idea is there. So I put some spiders on. I put another ghost on, you know, just here and there. And then I'm going to cut this into somewhat of a circle. I don't want it to be a perfect circle. I want it to be a little bit choppy. So I just kind of went in and out, left and right, back and forth, and cut a little bit of a circle out of my little hula skirt here. And that was it. It's adorable. And then I put a few little pieces of candy inside the little bucket. And I've got all my spiders and my ghosts, and it's adorable. This would be cute if you had like a little Halloween party or something and you put it at your desk or something like that at work, which is probably what I'll end up doing. But there it is. Super fun and easy. And then we have to update my wreath or my door hanger that I have outside. It was this summerish looking flower. So we're going to take that off and make it more Halloweenish. Now this flower, this dark purple that I found at Dollar Tree a long time ago, is my favorite, I think, that I've made so far in terms of my door hanger. But it is going to come off. I do save these so that I can reuse them in the future. But it is going to come off for now. And I couldn't get it off. I guess I really liked it so much I really didn't want it to come off. So I could not get it off. I glued it too well. And then we are going to get all that glue residue off. Just by using the hairdryer, I'm just going to lay the hairdryer down on the table, aimed at the hot glue, and I'm just going to use one of those Dollar Tree scrapers to scrape off any of the glue residue that may be left. And I glued that flower on really well, so there was quite a bit of residue there that I needed to peel off. And then once I'm done getting the glue off, I'm just going to wipe it down with a wet wipe. Make it look nice and clean and pretty. I love this door hanger. I've had it for years now. And then I'm going to put my little Halloween decor onto the door hanger. I made this little tree, and so I'm trying to figure out how to make it fit onto the door hanger. So I'm just going to have to cut some of it off in order for it to fit around the bend there in the door hanger. And that was fairly easy. And then I'm going to figure out how to put this rose on here. And the cat, I was trying to make it work, but it was just too big. If it would have been maybe half that size, it would have fit perfectly, but it wasn't, so I couldn't use it. I didn't use it. And instead, I'm focusing on the rose because the rose is a better size I can make work. And then I had made these little pom-poms, but they were too, I don't know, frilly, I guess, for the door hanger. The door hanger was a little bit more Halloween, so I didn't use the pom-poms. I made these itty bitty little bats. You can barely see it here, but I made these adorable little bats and I did them in this iridescent looking filament, so they look really cool. So I glued a few of those bats on. And another little itty bitty tiny one. And then, again, I decided not to use the cat. And instead, I'm going to glue that rose on, and then I'm going to put this pumpkin on as well. So the pumpkin, I needed to make the face brighter because it had like open eyes and everything. So I just needed to make it brighter. So I'm just going to outline all of the different cuts and lines that are in the pumpkin's face. And I figured that's enough so that you can really see it if you're knocking on my door or ringing my doorbell or whatever. You could see what's actually happening there on the pumpkin. And then we just got to glue everything together. So I'm just hot gluing everything. And these are quite a bit different than the florals that I normally glue on here. So hopefully, I'm going to be able to get all these off. I know with enough heat, I definitely can. But I don't want to ruin anything. So we'll see. But for now, we're just going to hot glue everything down. And again, all of these little decorations, you could find something similar or whatever you like at Dollar Tree or Five Below or Hobby Lobby or wherever else you may want to shop. I decided to put some more bats on, so I made a few more bats and put those on as well. And that's it. Quick and easy. I think it's kind of cute. I'm not much of a Halloween decorator, but this will do. And that's my door hanger for Halloween. For all of September and October, basically. So I did take it back inside. I mean, it's not outside right now, but all of September and October, I will put it outside. I thank you so much for stopping by Nattys Crafts today. I sure hope that you could go ahead and give the video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you should hit the bell so you know when the next video comes out. And remember to always appreciate today, as tomorrow is never promised. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a great one.